Good afternoon and welcome to Titan Talk. Hey guys, thanks for joining us. Today you've got myself, Lieutenant Coop. We've got a wonderful local talent, Mr. Captain McFarland, with us.
Hello,
And
mateys.
today we kind of wanted to go over a little bit of reports. We get a lot of questions on it, and reports is a kind of a pretty important function of what we do
That's correct.
for our clients, and not only for our clients, but for um, lawsuits or anything else, stuff like that. So they're super imperative that we get them right, or at least as close to as possible. So that way guys like this can go in and double check some of the smaller stuff and fix those things. But we wanted to go over a little bit about reports and just how they work. One of
Right.
the big things that we're looking for that. So
Yeah, so I just want to touch base on it. Basically, I know we've done this before. I've gone over it a little bit, but it's a good reminder. We process anywhere from 60 to 100 reports a day sometimes, and weekends are obviously more active and stuff like that. So it's important that you understand the importance. Let's see what I did there of report writing, because it is the way that we communicate to our clients. It's the way that we defend ourselves in situations and stuff like that. So I could never be too. Right. I can never stress it enough of how important it is to be accurate, to the best of your ability, and to be timely with getting those reports done. It also just helps you develop as an officer. The more reports you write, the more you're going to look at the job a little differently, as far as how you observe things or how you handle things in the field. Excuse me. Excuse me.
There's
I'm a little scratchy today, so I apologize if my voice is a little off. He could probably do some cool stuff to make it better, but you get me. So when you're doing those, just make sure that, let's say, uh, oops, Coop and I are switching off for post or whatever. Hang over and just knock your reports out. Just because the sooner you can do it in a safe, obviously safe manner, the more information you're going to retain and be able to articulate accurately in that report. So especially for any use of force reports, we try to keep those to a minimum, but sometimes it's just unavoidable. And as long as you go through your use of force continuum and you make the appropriate decisions, then and as long as you're safe and keep everybody else safe, then it's a victory. But we never want to be caught in those situations. It's just it's a part of the job. So
Well, I mean, reports are important for not just use of forces, but I mean, some of our clients, like a lot of our patrol clients, like the reports that come through for lights that are out or for
sure,
areas that are unsafe,
light audits are a
you know.
great thing to do on the
And so
overnights.
yeah, and so stuff like that, those reports are super important, being able to have that structure set up to where you're not putting in a bunch of the nonsense that, your opinion in it. It's like,
Yep.
hey, this is where the light is. It's in this section of the parking lot.
Yep.
It's this, and so, or this in this building or whatever the case may be. And so even those observation reports where it's just we're putting up information for the client when
Yeah.
it pertains to their property, they love that, gates that aren't locked, doors that aren't or that are unsecured that we're attempting to secure, or we did secure.
Right.
We show up to do a door check on a property, and we find 3 doors that are unsecured, and we were able to fix that and secure it. Clients love that stuff, and so
Yeah.
being able to put that in a report effectively and getting that out to them, they eat it up. It's just
Well, I mean,
it's more evidence
at the
when
end
we're
of the
there.
day, that's what they're paying for.
You know?
So we put our clients peace or keep their mind at ease when we're on their property.
Mhm.
And so some clients have 10, 20 reports a day, depending on which one it is. And I won't go over any of that information on here, but those clients are expecting to get those, and we always want to make sure that those reports are accurate. We never want to falsify any information. And as always, if you're unsure and need some guidance, I helped somebody today with a report. Call the lieutenant phone, or if you have my work number, give me a shout. Because ultimately, me and a few other supervisors, including the chief, are the only ones that authorize or audit those and make sure that we're putting out accurate information. So
Hey,
just
Billy.
some tips on that to go over what I already started on is get it done as soon as you can while still fresh in your memory. Make sure you're safe, especially my patrol guys. There's some parts of town we work at where it's not safe to be sitting in a vehicle with your head buried into a laptop or your phone. So make good decisions on that. But and then call with questions if you have any regarding the information. It's date, time, location, and then kind of go over what happened. And then we always want to end with a resolution to the issue. Okay, whether that be you had somebody publicly intoxicated and just saying, hey, a man was drunk in the grocery store I was at. well, we have to have a resolution. And
I always tell to everybody when it came to reports, I always thought of it like a story. And so in a story, you have an introduction, you have a body, and then you have an end.
correct,
So you have the beginning of it is on this date at this time, I officer, whatever. This is what I ran across, and then
yep,
in the body, that's where I give a little bit more detail than I did in that introduction of, hey, this is what I saw, this is what was going on,
yep,
this is what I said, this is what they said, and then at the end, this is the end reaction. Hey, this is we wound up getting him a cab or PD showed up
sure.
because somebody else called.
Or we
And
left without issue.
right, you know, he
We
walked
need
out
to
the door and
know.
kept going. Cool,
Yeah,
fantastic. And I've always broken it down that way because that's the way it made the most sense to me
yep,
is when I'm breaking this down, if I was the one getting this report, if I was the client, how would I want it structured? And that's how I would want it. I want it break down like a story. Give me the introduction of what happened.
right,
Give me an idea. Give me the body of the meat and potatoes of it, and tell me what the dialogues were if there was any,
yep,
and then tell me how it ended. Did
yep.
everybody
Yeah, don't
leave?
leave
Is
me
everybody
hanging.
okay?
Don't leave me
You
hanging,
know,
especially
give me the end
it
of the story.
gives me undue stress when they're like, "Yeah, a guy came in with a gun, and then that's it." I'm like, "Wait, hold on.
Back,
Hold on."
we're
Yeah,
missing like a whole lot from this
yeah.
story
I
here.
wanna know that authorities were contacted and everybody's safe. And it gives, Chief Leon undue or, unfair stress as well, so just make sure you're doing your homework on that stuff. There's, things on YouTube, make sure it's a reputable source, but on how to properly, instruct, reports and how they want you to kinda categorize everything. And if there's enough of you out there, we used to do report writing classes. I think COVID hit, and so we kinda limited all our interactions here at the office with kind of further or extended training. If you guys are interested, shoot me
Absolutely.
and Coop. Excuse me, I just had lunch, so I'm a little burpy, but,
Rub it in.
I know well, I didn't wanna come on here and be hungry and complain the whole time, so,
Must be nice.
it was like a shame sandwich from the gas station, so
Oh,
it's a quick trip, spicy chicken.
that's even that's so
It
good.
wasn't bad. It wasn't
Anyway,
bad. Yeah, so back
um,
to what I was saying. So if you guys are interested,
let us
please
know.
email us, and then
Absolutely.
if we get enough applicants, I guess, if there's enough people that want to come in for an hour or two and have me or Leon or Instructor Sparks or any of the instructors, kind of put on a class on how those reports need to be done or what what our expectations are. We would be happy to do it because in the long run, it makes our lives easier. So I'm not having
Well,
to
not
edit
just our lives, it makes your lives
grammar.
easier too because then you know what's expected, you know how to write the report,
Right.
you know what you're looking at. It's not, "I think this is right," and then excuse me, the next day, you get a call from Captain McFarland here going, "Hey, so you're missing
Yeah.
a
What
ton
in the
from this
wide world of
report.
sports is going on
What
here?
happened there? Walk me through." And so you're able to get that, and it makes your lives easier too. So
Yep.
that way, it's you report it, you put it in there, and it's done and over, and
Yep.
then you move
So
on.
yeah, so we kind of covered the importance of being truthful and on or the accuracy, and so some good words used for like time frames if you don't remember or don't have camera footage to pull the exact
Roughly,
times.
approximately,
Approximately is the one I usually use, just because
it sounds better.
it helps you establish that you know if you're in a use of force or whatever report it is, we're not robots. We're not going to just automatically know what time it was, and that's another reason why doing it closer to when the incident or the report happened is gonna be easier on you than having to go, "Man, 3 days ago," and, yeah, your
You've
reports need to
lost
be
it.
done by the end of your shift, or if you need to hang over, let us know, and, we will make sure you're compensated for your time on that, but, yeah, doing them the next day for the for the night before, we gotta get out of the habit of that, and I don't see it that often, but I do see it. Another big piece I wanna talk on is grammar. Take your time, proofread it before you submit it to us. Just make sure you're using periods instead of one I see a lot is commas in place of periods, and I don't know if that's like a phone button issue or anything. Another one I see is talk to. You can tell they use talk to text,
Oh,
which is fine,
talk to text is it
but
was a
just
good idea.
go back through and proofread it and make the corrections where needed because they'll have words that
That
sound the
talk to
same
text
but are
is just
spelled
yeah.
different, and I'm just like, "Yep, they're definitely using talk to text here." So I'm perfectly fine with using that. I used to use it sometimes on reports. I use it all the time when I text just because it's easier. But make sure we're proofreading these before you submit them, just to cover your end too. Because as you're reading through your report, I would read it 2 or 3 times and make sure, unless it's like a routine. Hey, at this time, at this place, there was no suspicious activity. Those are my patrol guys, and those guys are seasoned veterans when it comes to writing reports. I mean, they write hundreds of them a week. But just make sure you're taking the time to again make sure it's accurate to the best of your ability and the grammar is to the best of your ability as well. I don't expect everybody to be, Edgar Allan Poe or have crazy good storytelling ability. Which leads me to my next point. Don't include opinionated stuff. So like the if someone's sketchy, don't use that word. Explain to me hey, the behaviors that came in, they were staring at me the whole time, and they were acting real shifty. They seemed like something was going on, and just explain how or why you came to that
Yeah.
conclusion.
Don't give the base opinion of this dude seems weird.
Yeah,
What's weird? Give me
yeah.
the detail of
He
it.
he came in and out of the bathroom 4 or 5 times. Something that's not normal accepted behavior would qualify you to feel or to say that okay, this needs a little more investigation. And hey, sir, can I help you? You seem a little. Are you lost
You're
or
looking for
something
something.
like that?
Can
So
I get
just
a
make sure we're not using just slang or anything like that, and always explain your reasoning for what you're doing. Okay, so someone gets into a fight and you have to step in and detain somebody. Explain why that situation went the way it did, what you did to prevent anything bad from happening, etc., stuff like that. So just make sure you're breaking it down uh, piece by piece, and then the best way to catch that is by doing those proofreadings at the end. You'll go back through and go, "Oh man, I spelled that's way wrong. I don't know what I was thinking."
what word is that again?
Yeah, because I'll be reading through some of them, and I'm just like, my brain hurts. So
I think I know what they're trying to
yeah,
say.
and then some I read it and then I'm like, this doesn't seem right, and I'll call and it's completely different from what they have in there. So that stuff can all be, for the most part, remedied by just taking your time, making sure you proofread, making sure you go back through, making sure your stuff's accurate. Other than that, they're not super hard, and they don't have to be super long either. If you can,
A good report can
yeah,
you can have a good report with 9 lines.
yeah. It just
It's the
depends. Make
content.
sure you're covering make sure you're covering everything. And as far as like timestamp, a lot of people I see a lot like I did this at this time and I did this at this time. Unless it's like a routine patrol, you don't have to include the time
Yeah.
after every sentence. As long as you're getting some increments in there showing us time frames, we're perfectly happy with that too. So other than that, I mean, the stuff we go over in orientation, I know we wish we had more time to spend on some of those things, but just make sure, like I've said it 4 times already, we're proofreading, we're rereading, and we're doing the best we can to have good sentence structure and beginning, middle, and an end.
Yeah.
Don't leave me hanging.
So
It's hard on my heart.
we had for new officers, one of the better ways to know if how that a report is written in the correct way is to give answers on the so-called 5W questions.
Yep.
The who,
Who,
what,
what, when, where,
when,
when.
where.
Yep.
If you answer those, a majority of the time, most of the reports, I'd say unless it's a use of force, 5Ws will cover probably everything else.
And the other thing is, if there is a use of force, you need to contact your supervisor immediately.
ASAP.
Immediately. Now, if there's someone, if PD needs to be notified and EMS needs notified, obviously go through that channel. But as soon as you have a moment to catch your breath, sometimes it can get a little hectic.
Hmm.
Call one of us. We need to know about it because we need to come help you. Okay, so make sure we're getting a new radio system coming out like halfway through the season or the year, the season. Our season 365. But so
Who still thinks of football?
speaking of, we play the Jaguars on Saturday,
How about the
3:30.
Bills?
No, Jaguars won. So I fell asleep in the middle of that game. Yeah, I have a new puppy. I'd sleep whenever I can. So we got to like
Thanks for joining us.
I think it was like halftime, and it was 27-0 with less than half of the game
We were
left.
winning or losing.
No, we weren't even we didn't play this weekend.
Okay.
We had a bye because we were higher seed.
Sure.
It's like tournament structure. The higher seeds get a first week bye. So and it's good because at late in the season, 17 or 18 weeks, they added a couple or a week or two to the regular season schedule over the last 2 or 3 years. It's wear and tear on your body. You see a lot of injuries from like week 15 and on because
Sure.
I mean you're just throwing yourself at other
It's
men,
extra
throwing
stuff
at
you
other
weren't doing.
yeah.
I thought we were playing the Bills. Someone told me that we were playing the Bills because the
There,
Bills won.
no, it's and this as much of a sports nut as I am, I still have I can't always put the pieces together on how these playoff structures work.
You can no longer get mad at me then.
Well, but it's like there's a lot of people that don't. It's fair. Sport ball,
Sport ball.
But yeah, so the way the kind of pieces fell into place is Jacksonville ended up winning, And so since they're a lower seed, we play them instead of the Bills. Now, if the Bills continue to
So if the
win,
Bills win the next one, will we face them after that?
correct, I think so. I've just got to look at the
So
bracket.
what's the chance that we're gonna lose? I say we. I'm not a Chiefs fan.
You're
I'm
still
not.
from here. You
No,
live
I
here.
live here. I'm
Yeah,
not from here.
true.
So if the Chiefs lose this next game,
And
they
we're done. It's
they're
do
out.
or die. It is do or die. You either win or you're going home.
How bad would it be if they were to lose against against the
It would
Jaguars?
be, yeah, Jaguars aren't. I mean, they're in the playoffs, but that was a wild card game, so they were like the lowest.
So
They barely got in
how
before the
bad
door
would it
shut
be?
behind them. It would be pretty rough. You'd probably see some pretty upset people.
We would see a lot of Chiefs fan, like no longer Chiefs fan, like
You would see the shame. It's called the sad or shame cobras.
Okay.
It's a joke that I was listening to Johnny Dare show. He was talking about it. Whenever your team loses, they do this, and so you look like a cobra. They're always just like, "Oh my God, we just do that?
Did we lose?
So they call them. There'd be a lot of shame cobras
Okay.
at GHA Arrowhead Field.
You think they got a really good chance though?
Yeah, I mean, the guys we have, they're just that offense is too electric. Unless there's something
It's
going on.
electric. Sorry.
That's gonna be in my head all day. Thank you.
I could not.
No, unless something major happens, like Pat goes down or Kelsey goes down, or the Jags just play their asses off.
That's happened too, hasn't it? Where like the
We
bottom of
lost
the
to bad teams.
I was saying the bottom of the bucket team, you're like, I think we got this.
Well, that's
And they
usually
just
what
play
it
like the
is.
best
Yeah.
game they've ever played in their lives.
Yeah, but they're coming off. I mean, the Richmond's coming off a big comeback win, so they're riding that momentum wave. But Chiefs guys got some rest this weekend. Probably watched a lot of film, and now they're number one public enemy of Kansas City's Jacksonville Jaguars right now. So they mean business.
They're in for it.
Yeah. Those guys are dedicated. Patrick Mahomes owns part of the Chiefs now, and like a couple
Does he really?
and a couple other teams. So he has a $500 million contract. And you see him on all the commercials for State Farm, and he has Oakley sponsorship. He probably makes like over $100 million a year.
I wouldn't know what to do with myself.
Yeah, it's weird to think about that, but yeah.
I wouldn't know what to do with myself with that kind of money.
Well, he's dedicated. It's a very mature young man that is, if he stays healthy, will probably go down as one of the best quarterbacks to ever play.
I say he's extremely young, isn't he? He's
mid-20s, yeah.
so he's got.
He's been in the league like 4 or 5
I
years.
say he's got 20 years though.
I mean, yeah, if he plays
'Cause
like
I mean,
Brady,
I was gonna say
I think Brady's almost in his 40s.
I
He
was
might
gonna say
even,
Brady's
I
still
think he's
going,
in his
isn't he?
40s. Yeah, like early 40s. I mean,
Imagine
but
having
he
a-
also is like super into like his diet and taking care of himself and stuff. I don't think he
Mahomes is.
eats spicy chickens from Quick Trip. No, Mahomes is, but he's still younger. I mean, he drinks. I know he drinks. When I met him at the
Yeah.
I was doing VIP. I was in the VIP area at Union Station, and the whole team was in there, and he was arrested.
Oh,
He
yeah?
just won a Super Bowl, and he
I
was
mean,
like
yeah, I was gonna
23
say,
years old. So what do you
23-year-old
expect?
won the Super Bowl. I would be too.
Yeah, but I'm just saying dedication-wise, he's there, but you see Tom Brady at the Super Bowl. Well, no, that's actually not true. When they won in Tampa, they were like throwing the trophy in between boats because they all had like all these boats next to each other. They did like a boat parade probably, and I'm pretty sure he was he had like a 1,000-mile stare going, so he may have had one or two cocktails, but yeah, I mean it's gonna be cool to see. We had, in the way sports works, I was young, but I remember Michael Jordan, and to have somebody that's that dominant at a sport, that's a really cool thing to see and be a part of. Because you talk about guys in the past that you weren't alive to see and stuff, and it's cool because you watch film and everything, but just the excitement going into next week when you're a fan, it's pretty cool to have those guys on your team, and they're slowly becoming like the new Patriots, where everybody doesn't like us because we're too good. So it used to be, hey, Kansas City hasn't been good forever, so let's give a chance now. Like, all right, Patrick Mahomes has not lost to the Denver Broncos in like 8 seasons. The iPhone 4 was the last iPhone that was out when
Seriously?
when Denver won last. Yeah,
No.
yeah.
No.
There was only one Marvel movie. Yeah, there's a list like of kind of meme of all the stuff was not TikTok didn't exist. Like all these things didn't even exist the last time Broncos beat the Chiefs.
Really? Man, I didn't think it'd been that long.
So report writing. But no, we were talking. I was like, let's do some about reports, just because I've seen
We do so, and that's the thing is we did one. We've done reports in the past, but something like that,
it's a nice healthy reminder.
I say we do so many of them, or we see so many of them. It may be, you know, uh, it may be 10,000 reports for us, and we go, you know what? I think it's been a little bit since we put a
Right.
reminder on. It had been 6 months, which in the long run of it isn't a huge amount of time, but at the same time, when we're looking at 10,000 reports in that 6 months,
Yeah.
it's a ton of things to go over, and you get a refresher out every now and then. So there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, it's just good to stay in your ear about it. It's one thing I learned from my boss. It's just he always follows up and follows through with things that he's got task wise, and it's a good healthy habit to get into. And so part of that, and I've always been this way, is I just have a process for just about everything.
Yeah.
And so it keeps me task oriented. It keeps me staying on top of things when we're moving in all the directions that we're. Battery is exhausted. Are we still?
Nope. All right. Well,
Well, we lost. We
that's
lost.
gonna be the end of it. So we appreciate it, guys, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Coop.
Thanks, guys. Cheers.